Guys, how are you feeling? I hope that you guys are feeling wonderful today. Also, did you watch my other videos? If you have, please click the like, subscribe, and also the bell notification if you receive any of the new videos which we'll be posting. Now, let's get right on to this wonderful story, which is basically called The Prodigal Son. So it all starts like this. Once upon a time, there lived a father and his two sons. The father was called the farmer, and his first son was called the older son because he was just found to be the oldest. The second was called the prodigal son and also the younger son. He was called prodigal son because he liked to waste money on worldly pleasures and also worldly living. And also, as they grew up, the farmer, he taught both of his sons how to take over the farm when he died. However, when the prodigal son grew up, he dreamt of distant places where he could be seen riding on a colt, the best colt of all, which was like a horse. And he was seen riding the horse, which is the colt. And people were staring at him with a really happy face. They were staring at him because he was so intelligent, smart, and rich. And as you know, the next day, he woke up rejoicefully and told his father, "Father, please, Father, I need a share of this farm in cash now, please. Before you die, I want your share of this farm in cash." His father was gravely sad about this and didn't want to do this. But he had no choice. As his son's desire, he said yes. But his father hoped that the prodigal son would soon come back to him and say sorry for leaving. Soon, time passed by and the prodigal son finally reached the city gates. There he spent all of his time in worldly living and earthly pleasures. He didn't even buy a house for himself. All he did was go to a restaurant and eat fancy things. And when people started to realize that he was so rich, they began to be friends with him. But as you know, fake friends. Because they only helped him to waste money. As you know, they are fake friends. If you have any friends who only help you to waste more and more money, you should know that they are not the real friends. They are fake. They do not help you to do stuff. All they do is help you to waste your money. So as you know, let's go back to the story. His friends only helped him to waste money and spend money for them. And so he did what they asked, and time passed like this. But still, he did not learn his lesson. He kept on wasting the money that his father had gave him. And also, he had lots of money to spare, but he didn't. He spent all his money on worldly living and earthly pleasures, as you would know. When this happened, he did not even think one single thing about his father's house, and he left everything that his father has gave him, except for the money. And so time passed like this. And also, as you know, there was a great famine, which included no rain, no food, that means. Because without rain, there would be no food, no crops. And so the shopkeepers, they closed the shop. And so the prodigal son had no choice but to find a job. But as you know, closed are the shops. They are closed. So the prodigal son found no place to go. And you might be wondering why the shopkeepers have closed the shops. The reason is because they knew that the famine would come. And they spared their food. They made more food and spared them in their shops. And they closed their shops because they did not want to waste all their food given to the people, because they were knowledgeable, they were smart. And so time passed like this, and he still didn't get any job. Well, one time he knew that he had to get the worst job of them all, which is to go to the farmer and ask him about what to do. And the farmer said, "You can work for the pigs." And he went and worked to feed the pigs, which was the worst thing that he wanted to do. The least thing that he wanted to do was to do that. Was to have a job was the least thing that he wanted to do. He didn't like it. All he liked was to spend money on useless things. And so time passed like this, but he still didn't learn his lesson. He still worked on worldly pleasures, and his dream was to pick up a millionaire, something like that. His dream was to become someone rich. He still worked for the farmer, on and on. And time passed by, and he only had one little penny as salary. He ended up not having his dreams, and even the pods that he was feeding to the pigs looked nice to him. And then, ta-da! He found and also remembered about all the servants in his father's house. They have plenty of food to eat, he said to himself. They even have a place to sit comfortably and sleep at night times, where they could not be killed or eaten by wolves or wild animals. That's what he said to himself again. But he told himself again, the third time, "I can't go to my father's house. He's just gonna kick me out. I just have to stay in this world like I was before and just go on my dream." But at the same time, he was starving, and he told himself again the fourth time, "I have to go to my father's house or I'll die here. I have to go. I'll just tell him, 'Father, I have sinned against you and against heaven, my Father in heaven.'" And he said to himself, "I'll just say to my father, 'Father, just make me one of your worst treated servants. Just make me one of your worst treated servants. Just give me a job so I can live peacefully.'" So he went to his father's house. Time passed like this, and then he finally reached his father's house. But meanwhile, he was still a really, really long way behind. But then his father saw him a long distance, and then remembered that it was his son. There he wept and ran to him. The prodigal son was scared. Maybe his father would kick him out of the house again. Maybe he would do something even worse, because he had treated his father really bad for not even remembering him. And after all these years, he didn't remember his father. But then immediately his father told all the servants to put on him the best cloak there was, to put on him the best sandal, to arrange a feast, a festival for him, a feast for him. And also to cut and fry the best and fattened calf there was in the whole household. And you have to know this. The older brother was working for the farmer all these years and was not like the prodigal son, which was the younger son. And as you know, when he realized that there was screaming and rejoicing in the house, he told one of the servants to come out and told him, "What's going on in the house? Why is there screaming and rejoicing?" And the servant said rejoicefully, Your younger brother has came home, and now your father has put up a feast for him, because he said, 'This son of mine was dead and now he's found alive. This son of mine was lost but now found.'" But then, as you know, the older brother was not really pleased with what he said. He was not pleased like his father when the younger son just arrived. So, when he came, as you know, the older son, he was by the log, sitting there in disappointment. He said to himself, I've worked for my father all these years. I worked for him and he didn't even give me one small lamb as to go to my friends and create a feast for them or for me. And when he comes, my father, he gives him the best and fattened calf that I worked in this house for